Hey yo, what's good with you? Just like I said in my past video, I'm back at it again with some 6v6 Serenith matches for y'all, and honestly, we're gonna get straight into it. We're not even gonna waste no time. Let's sortie. Alright, y'all, and okay, so in 6v6, I wasn't gonna lie. My first like 3 matches, I was about to come up in here screaming, this Serenith needs more damage. I'm tired of having to rely on damage dealers to do their freaking jobs. I want to just be able to kill people solo. I'm tired of being your wingman for every fight. I want to solo, But again, in these 6v6 matches, I want you guys to know I did get to the master rank. I am a master pilot in this game mode in particular, so the matches are going to be a little bit more high level. So when the damage dealers aren't doing their job, I get very irritated. I'm like, how are you this high up? How are we in the same lobby and you don't know what you're fucking doing? I get really upset. But yeah, after I was done kind of, getting grumpy about my shitty teammates, I decided, you know what, no, I'm a support. Though I'm not a healing support, I'm a recon support, and I feel like recon supports should do some damage. I'ma just do what it do, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna play Serenith the way I think Serenith is supposed to be played, and I feel like Serenith is a really good, oppressive mobile suit to play as. What I mean by oppressive, if you can stay out of their immediate attention, you can cause a lot of harassment, and I'm gonna try and show that just a little bit in throughout all these games. And even in this mode particular, Serenith has some really sneaky methods on how to take the objectives, and I feel like that's another like little shining star to Serenith as Serenith shoots for the stars, you know what I mean? But yeah, I would also like to throw as a little addendum, if you're ever versus a stealth-based mobile suit as Serenith, that should be priority #1 for you, because ain't nobody gonna be able to see him. You're the one who can track him down. You're almost like a bloodhound, low-key. And so, you gotta utilize that and help your teammates out. And don't get me wrong, depending on how educated the pilot is, they will focus you on sight, because again, you're a natural enemy. So it makes sense for you to target your enemies, unless, like, again, you don't have teammates who do not focus objective. They only focus kills in an objective-based game mode, and then you have to then surrender your life to then sit on the payload and pray for the best. Like, literally, you're seeing it happen right now, right? I have to sit on this payload. Everybody else is kind of going gung-ho, buck wild, trying to get these kills, right? Me, I gotta sit on this payload, bro. I can't do anything to help this situation other than sit on this payload, bro, and maybe drop a couple of bombs on foreheads, right? Another thing about Serenith that I feel like could kind of be tweaked, should be tweaked. I don't understand why her ordnance drops affect the teammates. I feel like if anything, they should give the teammates like slight buffs, like for instance, how Serenith's whole thing is about controlling targeting systems and enhancing targeting systems, right? Why can't the ordnance drop kind of give your allies kind of like a temporary anti-targeting effect, you know what I mean, instead of hurting them? I feel like, I get it, if you want to make it accurate, it's a bomb explosion, it's gonna hurt everybody in the area, but maybe making it more like a hack, it's a sentient thing where it understands, it can discern from enemy and ally, and it gives, pain to allies and assistance to pain to enemies and assistance to allies. I don't know what I just said there, but y'all get what I'm saying, right? And so, either way, it's fun trolling your teammates if that's what you want to do, but like, it's not as reliable in a trolling sense, so just give it the the give it more supportive role, make it to where Serenith can play the support role a little bit better, because again, Serenith as a solo mobile suit cannot kill a regular mobile suit very easily, especially if you're a charge junkie like I am. It's very challenging for you to execute a kill order in that regard, because the longer you charge, the more damage you get. Yes, and that's a good shining star. But the longer the confrontation goes, the bigger the window of escape or failure occurs as well, which I personally feel is a little irritating, especially when they're maybe like 5%, 4%, and your regular like fast shooting does like maybe 0.5%. It can be really demotivating for me to pursue people even at 5%, which is ridiculous to say, right? At 5%, you should want to chase them down, get that quick kill. You know what I mean? But again, if I have to charge a shot up halfway or full for me to feel confident to release and get that kill, you know, again, the escape window increases exponentially for the enemy. Reinforcements can come, and then it scuttles the whole operation, in my opinion, right? So, yeah. Again, I wouldn't be mad with Serenith getting a little bit more damage. Nothing egregious. Serenith doesn't have to contest with the offensive mobile suits of any kind, of any facet, but just, you know, upping the damage maybe slightly, maybe by like 10%, maybe by like 15%, and I think Serenith would be good. I would even say, damn near say, making her capable of 1v1ing would be glorious. I think that it makes complete sense, because if you're a recon unit, you're behind enemy lines getting that information, you know, holding down the line, you know, as you kind of see me doing right now. You know, it becomes more of a hassle for the opposition if I can, you know, put down some real pressure. And again, when it comes to the ordnance drops, it takes so long for it to activate and for the whole AoE effect, which is the shining star of the ordnance drop, especially when you hold it, for it to take effect, that again, it leaves a high probability of escape. Now, I wouldn't mind so much if the ordnance tracked permanently throughout the charge time, but again, if you charge it all the way, the caveat for not getting the caveat for getting the charge time with the AoE effect is the fact that the ordnance does not follow the target, right? I feel like maybe having it permanently follow the target until the end, and then the end point where the actual payload drops can be the escape window would make a lot more sense. It would also make the pilot's evasion be a lot less brain dead, but again, that's all depending. I know, like, this is like this is season 0 right now. We're not trying to make things too challenging for newer players and maybe lower skilled players to deal with, but I feel like at a high end, again, I'm in the master ranks, at a high end, I think it would be very fun to make it more of a thoughtful action to dodge than it just being like oh, I'm just gonna mash it and avoid it. Again, the only thing that you can't really do that with is the missiles from like the jets and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it would be cool if the jets didn't only have this function of projectiles that are hard to evade, especially with a support character that has a lot of combat potential, right? But yeah, you know, I'm so curious on what other Sereniths think. I ran into one other Serenith player in this in my entire run, or in this entire recording, right? I think ever, really. And that game I lost, and my team did nothing. So I was kind of mad the entire time. I'm like, man, you're taking my new main away from me, and you're bad with them. Like, I was a little perturbed. But I digress. I had to let it go because, you know, you can't win them all, and you can't play the things you want to play all the time, right? You know, which is unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is. And I'm just glad that, again, this game is so goddamn good. Like, just the combat in the game. Again, all the game modes are fun. Like, I genuinely believe all the game modes are fun. Like, you could spend your whole time playing Mash Mech. You can spend all your time playing the 3v3. You can spend all your time playing the 6v6. You know, if you feel like fucking spicy, you can just rank the entire day. You know what I mean? And you'll have a great time doing it. Now, don't get me wrong, it sucks when you lose, because I feel like it's a huge gap. Don't get me wrong, there are some matches, and I showed you guys some matches where it's really close, and sometimes there are turnarounds. But in my experience, right, I've seen it more like, yeah, your losses are kind of like you're getting stomped. In my experience, I get stomped. If I don't get stomped, it's a comeback, and it feels awesome. But if it's like yeah, it's like a stomp, or like it's a comeback. And don't get me wrong, I like the comebacks. The comebacks breathe life in the game. And then when it's neck and neck, and in the diamond rank, there was a lot of neck and neck battles, which was really, really fucking tight, because you'd see everybody kind of lock in, lace up, just trying to get that extra mile for the payload, or get that extra point for their team in the point captures and stuff like that. To where it's so enjoyable. I cannot talk better about it. Oh, and so I was talking about being perturbed earlier, right? And y'all know how sometimes I'd be looking at the overall cliff notes, spark notes of the battle, right? And I had to look at these ones in these matches in particular, seeing how I stacked up to the MVP. And again, I'm in master rank in this game mode, so I expect myself to not place high in my team, but I do expect myself to be in the top 3. I do hold myself to high standards, so I try to keep those standards. You know what I'm saying? I'm not degrading. I'm only upgrading. That's all I can do. And so, yeah, you know, I give kudos to my teammates. In some of these matches, they were playing really fucking good. They were really showing some high level stuff. I think there was a guy with 11.6 percentage in one of my games, which was fucking phenomenal. Like, I want to get to that point, but for me, I get kind of nettled, because these people, these players, right, they'll die like twice and get MVP, but I die 0 times and I don't get shit. And I'm like, man, I gotta die 2 times and to get MVP. You know what I'm saying? I played a perfect goddamn game. You know what I'm saying? I did everything perfectly. Lion high MVP. You know what I'm saying? Where's my flowers? You know? And it's like their score differentiates from mine by like 1 assist and 2 deaths. And I'm like, so should I have died 2 times to fucking get the MVP? What the fuck? You know? But like, yeah, it's hilarious to me, because again, I play the support role, you know, and I'm just doing what I can and what the mech's good at, and you know, I seem to just, you know, it seems to just blend well with me. Like, I don't get it. Maybe it's I feel like with the support characters and with the lights in general, like you can't run in, you know what I'm saying? You can't face roll and rely on heavy resistances to keep you alive in the battle. You know, you really do have to kind of be a little bit of a tactician. You do have to pick your shots, and sometimes you do not need to understand when you need to back up. Sometimes, and I'm not gonna gas myself up too much, I don't do that shit. Sometimes I just want to be in the mud, and I want to be in all the blood, and you know what I'm saying? And I do that, and it's still a whole lot of fun. Like you guys saw me in that payload. I was in the center of the action. I couldn't really do much about it. I couldn't really do much of anything at all other than sit at the payload, but I was there. You know what I'm saying? I seen it. I was eating popcorn watching it. You know what I'm saying? I was there. But yeah, you know, like that's just kind of like those funny moments, those funny situations that I always seem to find myself in. while I embark on these, on in this game, and while I sortie, right? And you know, like, again, when I first came into the 6v6 matches, like, I'm not gonna lie, I was mad nervous because, again, I did rank in this. I got a pretty decent rank, and I didn't want to drag my team down, right? But, like, again, I was just astonished. I was kind of surprised about how well I could help and how well I could harass the enemy team, the opposition, right? And one thing for people who maybe hate tanks or who don't enjoy them, the bulkier strikers, the bulkier mechs, the bulkier Gundams, is that Serenith kind of forces them to move. Like, if you hold the ordnance long enough to where you get the max charge, and they're just trying to, and you can kind of predict when they're about to sit down and do the turret or shoot the missiles, you can force them immediately out of it. Though their cooldown on it is a little long, which I feel like should have a deeper punish for it, especially if you're forcing them out of it, right? But again, I don't like them, so the fact that I can force them to move and make it a harder time for them to sit down, hunker down, and do what they want to do makes me feel really good. Again, it goes back to the guerrilla tactics that I was very excited that I found while learning this mobile suit, right? And so, yeah, you know, like, these games are great. Like, I can't really lie to you, though I am now realizing that these matches were a lot longer than the 3v3 matches, obviously, right? I don't know why I expected these matches to be the same time length as the 3v3 matches, when there are more people and they give you more time for the objectives, right? I have no idea why I thought that, but you guys are seeing the screen right now. You're all seeing the score right now. It's looking kind of dire. Right? So let's see if this is a comeback game. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's I did harken at earlier that Serenith has some secret tech. It's not really a secret. They tell you in the tutorial on Serenith's methods on how to take objectives, right? But, you know, so I don't know if it's like public knowledge. I don't know if people like actually use it on a regular basis, and you're gonna see it in my later games that I actually use it, and it actually comes in handy. Especially in some of these situations where maybe the objective is obscured by cover in certain angles. It can be very useful, and since it's you guys will see. I'm not gonna spoil too much because it's near the end of the video. But yeah, like, again, like, I really do enjoy Serenith. Like, it's just a really fun mobile suit to use. Like, again, I wish I could do a little bit more damage to where I can chow some of these people in solo battles instead of having to kind of like buddy with other people. And don't get me wrong, it does force team play, but when my team is a bunch of rubes, a bunch of banana heads, fucking not understanding the objective, the core of the game, I just want to grab my kill and then go straight to the objective. Time is crucial in this game, and if you're chasing too many, if everybody's chasing one thing and they're not focused too correctly on the other thing, like, you're gonna lose out. There have been a couple of games where, like, I realize everybody is focused on one objective, but another objective is spawned and is able to be taken, and I realize it, and as soon as I leave, my entire team leaves with me, and it's just kind of like, well, now we just gave up this objective that we were fighting hard for, and now we lost this other objective because there's a faster person on the enemy team who has now obtained that objective, right? So it's like, you know, if Serenith was good at 1v1s, I could confidently say to myself, okay, this guy who was off on his solo, who did the right thing to grab this objective that no one was paying attention for, I can kill him and then go back and reinforce my teammates instead of, you know, having to kind of coax a random into following me to kill this guy, you know what I mean, because my bullets tickle unless I charge it, you know what I mean. So yeah, again, I'm not saying buff the mobile suit egregiously. Just make it to where she can 1v1. I mean, like, again, I think a reconnaissance unit should have the effective ability to kill on its own, you know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, if I start the battle off and they're already at 50%, my chances of killing them is significantly higher. But again, like, I have to charge to get the kill threat, you know, and that can be frustrating, and that, in my opinion, it is really frustrating, because again, it just means I can't 1v1. I cannot do it, because again, if they just have to click me and do the same amount of damage that it takes me to charge and do, again, I have to play a lot hard. I have to play a lot better. I have to rely on a lot more of my abilities, and then, you know, it can be a little bit more of a hassle. I know what some of you people are thinking. Some of you educated folks are thinking, why don't you use Serenith Tether to make it to where you can't be targeted by them? Well, I'm gonna tell you, Mr. Smarty Pants, that if they have good movement and they back away from you instead of sitting in front of you like most of these turret tanks do, you know what I mean? My tether is broken, and that effective strategy is now moot unless I chase them around like a dog on a leash. And again, possible, I could do that. I really could. But, you know, at the same time, I'm trying to kill them. There's a lot of factors coming in. What if another teammate comes and I get jumped? Then I have to disengage because I can't 1v1. Why am I gonna 1v2? You know what I mean? It's like these things, you know what I'm saying? Again, higher level stuff, you think about a little bit more, blah, 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 you know what I'm saying? But yeah, either way, it's still a fun journey. Even when they go all stealthy like this too, I'm not too concerned. All I have to do is click one button, drop an ordnance, and even though they're stealth, they're still getting blown up, you know what I mean? And I love it. I'm loving it like McDonald's. I don't even eat McDonald's. They should sponsor me though. Okay, guys, off topic, because there's been a lot of crazy stuff going on right now in the world, and it's stuff that I like. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. The Voyager 1 and 2 have just dropped some information, you know what I'm saying? Giving some information back from deep space. That's really fucking cool. The stuff that they're bringing back, the fact that they found like something that had modified him as well is very stunning in my mind. It just harkens back to things that are equivalent to sentient energy and things that you heard in biblical text and in biblical sentences and stuff like that are legitimate things outside in the heavens, right? But not in the sense that most people will think. It's kind of gnarly. It's kind of gnarly, right? I also saw, as I'm scrolling, or as I go through the internet and things find me, right? How there's like a mecha Hitler now, and it's like an AI unit. that in my mind, I was dying laughing for like 45 minutes. There's a mecha Hitler and it's an AI unit, bro. And that brings me back to, like, because if you guys didn't know, a lot of robots that are being made right now are being made to look very docile or very attractive, right? So the first thing in my mind was, you see like a really hot AI robot lady, right? But she's programmed to think like Hitler. She has a Hitler voice and a little Hitler mustache, but she's a baddie, like a 12. You know what I'm saying? She got it going on in all the floppy drives. You feel me? And I just find it so hilarious because it's like you're either one of two people. You're either Krillin or you're Trunks, right? And I just want to know, guys, which one are you? I'm swinging more towards Trunks, but I ain't gonna judge you if you Krillin, bro. You know, Krillin a cool dude, you know what I'm saying? He was bald for 99% of his life, and all of a sudden he got hair after he dated that lady. So maybe it's good for you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it relieves stress until she start talking about until the Hitler program start taking over. You know what I'm saying? And then instead of iRobot, right? In the conventional sense, it's kind of like a bunch of hot AI robots with Hitler voices going 9 all the time, chasing you around the block. I, I can see it being hilarious, right? But also super scary depending on how it goes, right? But either way, you know, interesting time we're living in. Interesting time we're living in. God, I don't want to talk about the political stuff. I'm just gonna bring up the JD Vance fucking July 5th speech he gave. Perfect, man. Perfect. I'm telling you, he's probably gonna be the guy that releases all the he's probably gonna be the guy that holds to his word. You know what I'm saying? If he can do it, and if it's in his power, he's probably gonna do it. And you know, JD Vance, man. JD Vance, man. I like completely out of nowhere too. And like, all right, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna leave on that. I'm gonna leave it on that, right? Imagine that Trump has to do all the evils, right, to make Vance shine more. You know what I'm saying? Almost like a this is like a passing of the torch in a legitimate sense, where it's gone with the shitty, like maybe potentially, I mean not potentially, but corrupt system into a new age of hopefully trust and nurturing of the seeds that have been ignored. But you know, I digress. I'm just super pumped. I'm super pumped. I'm excited to see what goes on. You know what I mean? I'm excited to see what goes on. It makes me want to follow some of my career passions a little bit more, with a little bit more fervor, as you can say. But I'm gonna leave it on that, and we're gonna get back into the games, right? Suffice it to say, guys, this game is going kind of bad again. Again, I think Serenith shines in the comeback. But again, to make that comeback happen, I have to have people around me, and it's a little unfortunate to say, but again, when people are around and they help out, you know, shit gets done. You know what I'm saying? Shit gets done. Like again, I wanna put up how those streamers were trying to help the Texas Wildlife Care Center, right? But it didn't seem as productive as maybe you would hope. But again, at least they tried, right? Stuff like, because I love nature, right? And to hear that the flood had happened, and all the lost children, and then you hear about the animal sanctuaries and stuff like that. You know, my heart bleeds for that type of shit. I'm a big wildlife person. You know, Teddy Roosevelt is like one of my favorite presidents, and one of his big things was, you know, saving the wildlife parks and nature and all that hootenanny. So, you know, and who doesn't bleed a little when they hear, like, you know, children are being hurt, you know? So stuff like that really fucks me up. My condolences to Texas. Hopefully they can recover well. But I digress. Again, back into the game, right? I'm getting clucked. It's super hard for me to get near the objective, right? I kind of have to clean the house, but it's hard for me to kill stuff. I'm hoping my teammates are doing well right now, right? But I can't really focus on them when a guy has a knife to my throat. I have to kind of play my life right now. But again, I'm kind of like fending them off. I see that my teammate has gotten the key, right? So I'm gonna give him some cover fire. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give him some cover fire. I'm gonna cover his ass a little bit, because I feel like when you have the key, I don't think you should be focusing on fighting. I think your goal should be just survival inherently. But yeah, you know, if you got 2 lives too, and you got the key, bro, and you see the keys up, you should just grab that thing, because again, it's just harder for them to kill you. It's harder for them to take the objective from you. So you should just get it. Again, that's why I be saying all the time, if you're a tank and you're not on the objective, I think you're playing the game wrong. Like, you're made to eat damage and hunker down, right? So How are you gonna tell me you're gonna go chase somebody? Leave that to the lights and the jets on your team, okay? Like the or the sniper, right? You know what I'm saying? Speaking of or the sniper, right? I hope they bring good snipers into the game, bro. They have, I think there's maybe like 2 very reputable snipers in the anime Gundam space that could be quite interesting to play to put in this game, right? There are also a lot of jets, right? Like there are a lot of jets, right? But there are also a lot of like interesting melee types that you can throw into. Like there's this one. There are a few Scythe Gundams that I'm thinking about now that I'm thinking about it. That could really spice up the game, right? But you know, I feel like there's gonna be a point where you're gonna see a lot of hybrid units, right? Because I'm thinking of the Gundam show with FCA and his mobile suit in particular. It's like an assassin type, right? But it also has long range capability, right? It does also come with a gun, right? So I believe in other renditions they had the mobile suit throwing shurikens because it is based kind of off of an assassin playstyle. But yeah, like when you I hope they don't go with the default version because we've already seen that in a prior Gundam game. That's name is escaping me right now because I literally played it for like a week, or no, maybe like 3 months, and then the server shut down, and I'm like, you just gave me the hot shit on the street, and then you turn the server off? Like, stop killing games. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But at the same time, what can I do? All right, you know what I mean? But you know, I just hope they put if they can only put one version of the mech or Gundam in the game, I hope they put like the Giga version of them. And like I also am curious how they're gonna apply like the special effects in like other Gundam series, like the Trans Am system in particular, because that was just like a nitrous boost, right? So how do you apply that? How do you implement that in the game? It's just things that constantly like roll in my mind, constantly appear in my mind. Like how do they add this? You know, if they add this, would it be too strong? You know what I mean? Like, would it? I wonder if it would be like an install mode where it's like it only lasts for a certain amount of time. Like, would it just be a passive move? Like my flight with Serenith. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many avenues they could do with those kinds of effects, those kinds of abilities. You know, that I'm personally intrigued in. Obviously, I'm looking at my cliff notes because I feel like I should be the MVP.
There's no escape from Stego's barrage,
and I'm not. So I'm just curious where I stack up. And this was a game where everybody was doing damage. They were doing work. So I was like, I gotta let that one go. I gotta do better, right? I gotta do better. But again, like I feel like with Serenith, and you guys can let me know if I'm wrong, it's just it's hard to kill. You know what I'm saying? And MVP isn't I feel like some components are about taking the objective, defending the objective, right? But MVP really shines about how much damage you do and how many people you get out of the fight. You know what I'm saying? And you know, like I can say that when I play Serenith very well, I stack a lot of assists, right? But you know, sometimes I want to just, you know what I'm saying? I want to solo kill somebody. I want to be able to say like, yeah, I did that. That's all me. That's all me. I did that. You know what I'm saying? But again, support, right? Support. I gotta get out of the mindset of just being able to handle business by myself. You know, as a support, you're gonna need help. I immediately get flashbacks to League of Legends when I had to learn the support role, and genuinely, it was hell when I wasn't playing Braum and when Pike wasn't a character. I was like, the only fun I really had was when I was playing Braum and Thresh, more aggressive defensive characters, and then when Rail came out, those more aggressive Rail and Pike, like those aggressive engage tools that can do a lot for your team, right? And I bring up Pike because Pike is a support that kills, right? So that's what I think Serenith should be, right? Because none of her kit screams support, you know, in the conventional sense of being a healer. She doesn't have stuns, so it's like maybe it would make a little bit more sense for her to be a kill support. You know what I'm saying? Give her a little bit more a little bit more damage, right? And you know, keep everything the way it is. Give her what is it? Her right click charge, tracking throughout all of the move, right? Throughout the max charge and the quick click, right? And you know, make the opportunity to escape be when the tracking stops and the projectile is about to land. Make that the window of escape, and you know, I feel like that'll just cement that whole kill support playstyle instead of this kind of like kill support recon playstyle, instead of this whole like kind of like, how do I say, like it's still recon, don't get me wrong, but like when you find the opposition, what are you gonna do, right? Like you just annoy them, you know what I mean? And to the point to where if you have a coherent team or you're playing with a team, you bring a group of people, you wait for them to come and then finish off the person that you either just brought to 50%, or it's been kind of a struggle breaking 2 shields and getting them down health. And in some instances the tanks heal when they get into the turret function, so it can be even more tedious and cumbersome. Like, I'm just saying, make it like, again, there are a lot of avenues for the opposition to survive when facing Serenith, making it to where she can do these 1v1s in a more manageable way. I feel like it could make the Gundam, the mobile suit, more viable, and kind of drag it and make it a better support in a sense too. But yeah, like, what do you guys think? Only comment on the Serenith comments if you pilot the mech. I don't want to hear about like you being a jet person and you're like, well, this is my experience from fighting her, you know, she seemed pretty strong, and you're like, I don't want to hear it. If you don't pilot the mech, you don't understand like the pitfalls and like the irritations. Like, I can say up and down, okay, the tank mechs are annoying as fuck because they have all these defensive capabilities, and the fact that if you drop a turret down at every 5 seconds you heal from it and stuff. Like, I could say that up and down, but like, there are probably some downsides to playing the tank, obviously being extremely freaking slow. You know what I mean? That probably makes it really hard to escape if 3 people are jumping you. But honestly, they're a tank. They probably live for that shit anyway. You know what I mean? Their kit is made to survive that anyway. So it's like, again, what are the pitfalls to the tank, to the heavy classes, right? What are the pitfalls to them other than movement, which again only really comes down to dodging at the right moment, right? Making it a more thoughtful movement than something just brain dead, right? But I digress, right? I digress. Right now, it's neck and neck. It's looking pretty neck and neck in this game right now. So we're just gonna have to hold on to our Dookie, because it's looking a little spooky. You know what I mean? And honestly, we all know what the deal is. All right. And if you don't know, hey, if you don't know now, you know. But we already know what the deal is. We already know what's about to happen. But you know, look, 1v1 situation, and I had to get help. In that situation, I should be confident in the ability to kill that guy. But in general, my entire time was my entire thought process is, if I don't land these 2 charge shots, I am in trouble. Yeah, I'm as soon as I say that too, I think of South Park that one when Cartman says, "I'm white trash and I'm in trouble," but I can't say that because a lot of that entire statement is inaccurate. But that's what my brain thought of because it's funny. It's funny because I'm in trouble. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Anyway. Isn't South Park a great show? It's just so funny. PC Principal, that's a great show. The one episode that I wish I could have seen was when they turned all of them into chicks. I know that show sell gangbusters, okay? I know that episode in particular was probably fire. But I missed it. I missed it. And I don't know where to watch that one again. If you guys know, please let me know in the comments down below. Though when I saw Butters as a chick go, "Oh, hamburgers," I almost lost my shit. No, I'm not gonna lie to you. But yeah, guys, this is gonna be the end of the video. Yeah, if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and again, if you want to see me pilot any more mechs, any different mechs, put them down in the comments, and I might give them a try. Thank you for watching. I'm out. Peace.